Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession is about to enter the hall. We will be singing the national anthem. The words are on page 11 of the program. Please be upstanding for the academic procession and remain standing for the national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. With joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
I, Kevin John Scarce, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purposes of presenting degrees. Could I welcome to the podium Uncle Rod to welcome us to his country.
Machwanga Gana Mena, Wangani, Mani the Budni, Gana Yatana, Alberca Mekalankla, Tandanyanka Minako, Nature Yungandaya, Nature Yakandaya, Padniadu Wadu. On behalf of the Ghana people, I welcome you to Ghana country. I do this ambassador of the Adelaide Plains people. My brothers, my sisters, let's walk together in harmony. Thank you.
Thanks, Uncle Rod. It's terrific to see Bonython Hall filled again this afternoon for the graduation ceremony. Could I start by welcoming all of our distinguished guests, our graduates, their parents and loved ones. It's a day of great pride and personal satisfaction for our graduates, and no doubt that feeling shared by their family and friends. And the university also takes great pride in graduation day. These days are often times for reflection of past achievements, perhaps more importantly, of the opportunity and challenges that lie ahead. As you would know, we live in an incredibly lucky country, blessed with abundant natural resources, with people who are hardworking, resourceful and resilient. Previous generations have laid the platform for this success, and now you, armed with new skills and knowledge, have your opportunity to contribute to this state, to this nation, and to our globe. As you think about how you'll go about making your contribution, I hope that you will also look beyond your job and look to support those people who haven't enjoyed or had the opportunity of success that you've had. I look forward to presenting your degrees shortly, but before doing so, it is with great pleasure that I invite the Vice-Chancellor and President of the University to present the candidates for honorary degrees.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present to you 3 outstanding candidates for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of the University Honoris Causa, Neil Armfield, Rob Brookman and Rachel Healy. South Australia's reputation as a festival state is known around the world. We are known for innovation in the arts. Our festival centre was Australia's first arts complex, and the Adelaide Festival has a long history as one of the world's major celebrations of the arts. From our earliest days, the University of Adelaide has fostered the arts in South Australia. We are home to the Elder Conservatorium of Music. We hosted the first Adelaide Festival in 1960 on our campus, directed by our Elder Professor of Music, John Bishop. We are proud to continue today that close relationship with the Adelaide Festival and the Adelaide Fringe. Today we are privileged to have with us three luminaries of the arts world who have each made outstanding and sustained contributions to the arts locally and nationally. Between them, they have written, directed, produced, managed and supported thousands of artistic productions. Neil and Rachel are currently joint artistic directors of the Adelaide Festival, while Rob is executive director of the Adelaide Festival. Their involvement has seen visitors flock to Adelaide. Beyond the financial impact of the event, the festival remains an enduring feature of South Australia and a proud reflection of the talents of its leadership. Collectively, their work has been vital to South Australia's reputation as the festival state, to the creative and cultural industries, and to our economy. Neil Jeffrey Armfield has given exceptional dedication and service to the arts in Australia during a career that spans over 40 years. Neil is widely acknowledged as one of Australia's greatest directors. His artistic acclaim stems from a career as a director of plays, operas, and films. He has won countless awards nationally and internationally for his work, including the Australian Writers Guild Dorothy Crawford Award for outstanding contribution to the profession. The 2005 film, Candy, which he directed and co-wrote, won the Australian Writers Guild Award for Best Screenplay and the Australian Film Institute Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. Neil's truly significant contribution to the arts was recognised in 2007 as an Officer of the Order of Australia. Chancellor, I am very pleased and proud to present to you Mr. Neil Armfield, Bachelor of Arts with First Class Honours, Doctor of Letters, Officer of the Order of Australia, for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa. Robert George Brookman has given 4 decades of exceptional dedication and service to the arts in Australia. A University of Adelaide graduate with a Bachelor of Arts with honours, Rob has led a number of Australia's foremost arts organisations and festivals, and his vision and passion have ensured the growth of these cultural festivals and institutions. In 1992, Rob placed Adelaide at the heart of world music celebrations when he launched the WOM-Adelaide Music Festival. This festival has altered the way Australians view world music in all forms and has become a mainstay of the festival calendar in our state. His roles in administration and artistic direction include the Adelaide Festival Centre and Adelaide Festival, the Come Out Youth Festival, the State Theatre Company of South Australia, and Sydney Theatre Company. He has won numerous awards, including recognition as a member of the Order of Australia and the South Australian Premier's Lifetime Achievement Award. Chancellor, I am very pleased and proud to present to you Mr. Rob Brookman, Bachelor of Arts, Member of the Order of Australia, for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa. Rachel Healy is one of the country's leading culture professionals with a career that spans nearly 30 years. She has managed a wide range of arts organisations. An arts graduate from the University of Adelaide, her first steps into the art world began right here when she became theatre editor for our student newspaper, On D. Rachel's high-level administrative, managerial and directorship positions include the Sydney Opera House and Belvoir Street Theatre, as a member of the Major Performing Arts panel of the Australia Council and part of the working group for the Australian Prime Minister's 2020 Summit for Creative Australia. As Executive Manager for Culture with the City of Sydney, she was instrumental in developing and drafting the city's first ever cultural policy and 10-year action plan, and the city's live music and performance action plan. We are proud to award her an honorary doctorate today in recognition of her exceptional dedication and service to the arts in Australia. Chancellor, I present to you Rachel Healy, Bachelor of Arts, for admission to the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
We are very fortunate this afternoon to have our three honorary degree recipients to be the orators: Rachel Lois Healy, Robert George Brookman, and Neil Jeffrey Armfield. Rachel won the toss and we'll start.
I acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Kaurna people, and in the spirit of reconciliation, pay my respects to their elders past and present. Thanks to the Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor and the whole Adelaide University community. It's a delight and a great honour to be here today. The last time I stood in this hall was nearly 30 years ago when I graduated with an arts degree. I didn't know it at the time, of course, but I had won one of the great lotteries in life. I was one of only 4 students from my year at school who came to study at Adelaide University, and my luck extended to a series of genuinely interesting and encouraging lecturers who persuaded me not to drop out within the first 6 weeks of my arrival, which is apparently a rite of passage for hundreds of students. So looking back, I suspect those lecturers were very well practiced in their arguments to stay the course. Even better, however, were the incredible opportunities that were available on campus. Maybe it was a good thing that downloadable lectures weren't available online and you had to ask the librarian to borrow a mouse to use one of the small number of university computers. The limits of screen-based technology meant most of my significant times at university were defined by the human interactions I had and the countless opportunities to work and socialise with other students, in tutes, in lecture theatres, in footlights, on student radio, when writing for the university newspaper, when joining activity committees to find bands to perform in the cloisters. Just prior to the day of my graduation, I'd started in my first job as assistant editor of Lowdown magazine, a national youth arts magazine, which was based at Karklu Youth Arts Centre. Again, it was the most miraculous stroke of luck to be appointed into that role, given the blizzard of applications that I know that had been received from graduates of the McGill journalism course. I had no formal qualifications in journalism. Instead, I had spent my undergraduate years as theatre editor of the university newspaper On D. It was an opportunity to focus my lifetime passionate interest in theatre and the performing arts into something that sounded a little bit credible. Being theatre editor of On D gave me a posh-sounding title by which I could beg free tickets from the publicist at the State Theatre Company or the Adelaide Festival and interview good-looking actors. It helped me distill what I cared about and ultimately the direction of my professional life. It gave me an opportunity to catalyse my belief in the value of theatre, music and creativity and communicate its value, whether it was Penny Arcade in Bitch Dyke Fag Hag Whore or Peter Brook's Mahabharata at the Anstey Hill Quarry. In 1990, I could never have imagined that my passionate fangirl interest in the creation and programming of the performing arts would, via a series of stepping stones from On D to Lowdown and beyond, will culminate in my current role as Joint Artistic Director of the Adelaide Festival. And so I want to dedicate this honorary doctorate to the artists whose creative superpowers connect all of humanity across the planet and across time. Scientific and law-based culture describes the place into which we were born and attempts to understand its workings. But art is about the inner world of emotion, dreams, and things that can't be expressed in any other way. That's why art matters. The outpourings of 1 billion unique minds cascade into a massive pool of human responses to being alive. The pool stretches from the Baroque rock art to the latest opera by Brett Dean, and it connects us all. We carry it with us through life, these days in our pockets as audio and visual files, but more importantly in our heads as memories, trivial or transcendent, that make us reflect on our actions and shape the way we deal with our fellows. In this way, individual expression, which can shock, repel, soothe, delight, elevate or humble, becomes a collective creative expression, and once we're gone, a message to the universe that produced us that we were here. Thank you.
Chapter 2. Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to thank the University for this great and undreamed-of honour. I confess it feels like a sort of fabulous shortcut, a bit like the moment when you're travelling internationally and your name comes out of some airline computer's algorithmic lottery and you're suddenly upgraded to business class. I'm acutely conscious of this for two reasons. One being that my wife, the playwright Verity Lawton, has slogged her way through a PhD over the last 4 years, and to be awarded a doctorate for what I've happened to do for the last 45 seems a bit like cheating. The second reason is that while I deeply admire formal learning, I was in truth a reluctant student who chose not to pursue any postgraduate qualification, but I'm going to accept anyway. Now, this may sound like I don't place great store by tertiary education, which could be seen as a bit ungrateful under the circumstances, but nothing could be further from the truth. While I may have been championing at the bit to get out and make things happen, my 3 years at this university was where I received the great gift of discovering what it was I did want to do, and in perhaps oblique ways, equipping me to pursue that pathway. My undergraduate years were spent expanding my worldview, rubbing up against great literature and discovering a world of ideas as much as facts. I learned how to learn and came to understand that the curriculum of my life was ultimately up to me. It may sound a little less than revelatory to suggest that one of the great gifts of my education was more self-knowledge than knowledge itself. But that's what stuck. Much more than my German language vocabulary, my detailed grasp of German unification under Bismarck, the results of my lab rats tests, or my naive analysis of the Vietnam War. Sometimes my erratic pathway led up blind alleys, and sometimes through magical doors into unimagined and thrilling discoveries. But best of all, I got to hang out with a whole lot of other people who were similarly engaged in discovering that creativity. Humanities' questioning, expression and development of ideas was to be at the heart of everything that would come. My cohort was enormously fortunate in that campus life at that time offered a string of mind-expanding diversions, most of which had nothing to do with study, such as the heady political engagements with the mass student-led protests against an unjust war and against racial bigotry, or the chance to make bad theatre ourselves, or the regular campus gigs by some of Australia's best musicians, or the opportunities to experience a compendium of classic cinema through the Uni Film Society. All of these and many more experiences that might have been viewed by a stern outside eye as indulgent non sequiturs drove the expansion of my limited white-bread world, while a degree majoring in English and politics seemed to almost arrive as an incidental byproduct. But the meta project of university is surely to create better human beings. For me, it provided the twin gifts of turning my brain into that of an adult and of showing me where my particular passion and my particular usefulness might lie. That may sound like a selfish line from the ultimately privileged, not only white male and living in the first world, but also a baby boomer, reaping the rewards of my parents' sacrifices and a world that had become, relatively speaking, geopolitically stable. And indeed, there are plenty who regard the pursuit of a life in the arts as ultimately self-indulgent, indeed trivial, when lined up against, say, medicine, where we're able to repair, protect, and even find better ways to create more human beings, or engineering, where we can use our imaginations and skills to enforce our will upon the physical substance of the world. The outcomes of these pursuits are so tangible, and in many cases so demonstrably good for our society. The arts tend to be perhaps a longer game. I like to think that through the arts we're engaged in building a better community through a life of the mind and the spirit. That sounds impressive, but how? How does a play, a book, or a song make us better human beings? Ultimately, the arts and their value lies in their intrinsic value and effects, the connecting of human to human and from culture to culture, the building of understanding and empathy, the socialisation of a species that is as subject to Darwinian impulses as any other, the building of utopian visions while also providing warnings against ourselves, valuing the intangible, the numinous, the thing that has no apparent purpose and yet which inspires us. Imagination, creativity, innovation, all those terms that we use to describe the elusive process by which we move our world from one paradigm to another. While many may argue that the arts have become marginalised by the march of material progress, I believe that we may well be on the threshold of a new golden age, generated by human beings' fundamental desire to congregate, share, talk and listen. It may be that the subject matter of the art created in this new golden age will be dominated by our ruination of this precious planet. But even in the face of the climate crisis, art will play its part in the debate, the expression of fear and rage, the consolation for what we're losing, the solutions and the visions of a better future. Art is about the picture of our community that we hold in our heads. It's about what we think, dream and discuss. It's about the stories we tell each other, each advancing our great narrative and our capacity for new thought. For those of us who have no deep religious faith, it's about having something that provides meaning in our lives. And for those who do have religious faith, it can be about celebrating that through art. For me, to have been able through the arts to learn about our world, our inner lives and our endless capacity to bring new angles to age-old issues, to reinterpret and recreate has been a massive privilege. And to then be able to share those experiences and ideas with the widest possible audience has not only been a further delight, but an obligation. Whatever your chosen field of endeavour, I hope you find not only success and personal fulfilment, but also the satisfaction of advancing, even just by a tiny fraction, the great, messy project that is the human race. Thank you.
Chapter 3. I should begin with an apology that I arrived from London at 6 a.m. this morning, having on Saturday night finished the run of the production of Andrew Bovell's adaptation of Kate Grenville's great novel The Secret River at the National Theatre in London. And there will be some of you, I hope at least, who managed to see that production that we presented in the 2017 Adelaide Festival, which was the last time that work was performed as part of in the Anstey Hill Quarry, where Rachel saw the Mahabharata and I saw the Mahabharata back in 1988. That this was the taking of this very important story of Australia, a story which begins in the Thames and ends amongst the Darug people of the Hawkesbury River in New South Wales, that this was a story that was finally being taken back to the Thames, where that story begins. So I'm slightly dazed from a long flight, but nevertheless thrilled and honoured to be here, to be receiving, along with Rachel and Rob, my loved and trusted colleagues, this great honour from the University of Adelaide. I should also say that I'm kind of the cuckoo in the nest here. Rachel and Rob both having studied at the University of Adelaide. I'm a Sydney boy, and I graduated from the University of Sydney right in the middle of that great experiment, what now looks like an experiment in free education, led by, when I began university, our great Prime Minister at the time, Gough Whitlam, who was unfortunately no longer there by the time I graduated. But that was a time of great hope and great ambition and a great investment in free education, free public education across the width and breadth of Australia. I'm thrilled that today we are amongst this hall full of beautiful young graduates in the arts. That an arts education is something that allows you to open your mind and to think creatively about the whole world that we live in. Myself, when I started at Sydney University, my mind was opened. I studied English literature and fine arts, and a great fine arts lecturer, Donald Brooke, posed the question, what is art? And it seemed like an easy thing to answer at first, but the more you thought about it, the more difficult it seemed to be, the task of actually analysing and understanding what this thing of art is. But my mind was opened by that experience. Being at university, I also gave me the opportunity to work with the University Dramatic Society, and by indulging my predilection, my interest, there's basically nothing I could do if I wasn't doing this, directing of theatre. I was able to graduate from university 5 years later and move straight into the profession, which led directly to me being here with the honour of being Joint Artistic Director of the Adelaide Festival. The festival tells great stories. It brings people together to experience story and to experience performance, music, theatre, the greatest imaginations in the world and the greatest performers in the world suddenly taking on the great issues of our time. I encourage you all to think about our world and how at this point in our history where there is perhaps more resting on your shoulders as the people who are going to be tackling and leading our society through the challenges of the coming decades. I wish you very well and congratulations, and thank you to the university.
On behalf of the graduates and their families attending today's ceremony, I would like to thank Ms. Rachel Lois Healy, Mr. Robert George Brookman, and Mr. Neil Jeffrey Armfield for their inspiring address. We are honoured that they have taken the time to join us on this special day to share with us their thoughts and experiences. Their words of encouragement and advice are greatly appreciated. They remind us that education places upon each of us an enduring responsibility to make the best possible use of our talents and to contribute to the betterment of society in whatever way we can. Please join me in once again thanking Ms. Healy, Mr. Brookman, and Mr. Armfield.
I will now receive candidates for degrees. I call upon the Vice-Chancellor and President.
Chancellor, I, Professor Peter Rathjen, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole university that the graduates who will be presented to you have all fulfilled the conditions prescribed for admission to the award for which they are so presented.
I, Kevin John Scarce, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. I call upon the Head of the School of Education, Professor Faye McCullum, to present the graduates.
Chancellor, I, Head of the School of Education, Professor Faye McCullum, present to you graduates from the School of Education. To the degree of Bachelor of Teaching and also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Stephanie Marie Spano. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Tun San Sun. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Songhan Kevin Wong. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Yong Ying Ye. To the degree of Master of Teaching, Matthew James Bailey. Robert Michael Button. Jing Yi Tao. Jonathan David Doughtry. Eliza Mary DeMarcy. Jacob John Hanley. Joshua Brian Huxtable. Patrick Darby Johnson. Hannah Mari Lewis. Elder Markovic. Ashley Taylor McAvoy. Achana Pandey. James Douglas Panozzo. Braden Kyle Pullen. Healy Beth Ruthven. Christy Lee Ryder. Stephen Thomas Seeker. Ting Swan. Benjamin Costas Timikos. Christopher Vogel. Kylie Michelle Walters. Benjamin K. Sing Wong. Nicola Jade Wright. And Si Chin Yang. To the degree of Master of Education, Yuli Astiana. Felix DG. Muhammad Hidiat. Yi Win Liang. Jin Liu. Tiani Lil. Pen. Giuliani Romeo. Valerie Sibakova. And Wenzing Xie. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Who Owns the Practicum? Initial Teacher Education Initiatives in 3 Australian States, Dr. Loretta Boschel. For a thesis entitled The Mechanics of Grammar, Theme and Ream in Engineering Education, Mogtree Solution, Dr. Alison Jane Hunter. And for a thesis entitled Academic Staff Mobility and Migration, ex-USSR Academic Migrants in South Australian Higher Education, Dr. Anna Morozov. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the School of Education.
Chancellor, I, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Professor Jenny Shaw, present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts. To the Diploma in Languages, Jacqueline Hollis-Sando. To the Diploma in Arts, Edward John Palmer. To the degree of Bachelor of Social Sciences, Eleanor Rosemary Goodbourne. Edward Anthony Hall. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Criminology, Željka Jakšić. Stacey Carla Mattison. Elizabeth Rhiannon Payne. Amy Rowe. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Health Sciences, Moegi Gisela Schultz. Song Chia-yung. And Chung Wu. To the degree of Bachelor of Media, Sadia Nasir Ali. Kelly Susanna Borholm. Brad Thomas Brumpton. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Isabella Monique Carboni. Dale Alinos Carter. Madeline Coates. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Natalie Day. Fan Min. Maxim William Hall. Emma Kathleen Hogan. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Andrew Scott Jensen. Annabelle Charlotte Jane Keeves. Hayden Paul Kenny. Carl Sakin Larson. Mimi Le. Madison Littleford. Liu Chamin. Daniel Scott Lias. Ben William Matera. Sebastian Alexander Morrison. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bonnie Kathleen Nielsen. Ernestine Kula Perkins. Isabel Prestia. Luca Rego. Thomas John Rode. Chloe Nina Salvemini. Samuel Wayne Schiller. Wong Chin-yen. Wong Rini. Jack James West. And Georgia Elizabeth Wood. To the degree of Bachelor of Languages, Sean Lee Evans. Also receiving the Diploma in Arts, Anne Claire Jackson. Tennille Cecilia Potter. Wen Yubin. To the degree of Bachelor of International Relations, Priyanka Nath. To the degree of Bachelor of International Studies, Joshua Akins. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Emily Kate Barron. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Tristan David Buckley. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Charlotte Maureen Dawson. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Taryn Mary Hanson. Her Honglin. Rebecca Manthoni. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Economics, Nicholas Hilton Yusuf Sim. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Yung Shawa. To the degree of Bachelor of International Development and also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Policy and Management, Frances Elizabeth Clancy. Alison Jones. Bianca Melissa Joubert. Brady Nathan Robertson. And Tamsin Louise Wilmot Daly. To the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Policy and Management, Eilith Rose Burton. Chantal Earls. Fung Shinran. George Oleski. And Jessica Lee Stevens. To the degree of Bachelor of Criminology, Tegan Leanne Bultitude. Courtney Ellen Dinaj. Tyson King. And Andrea Rademeyer. To the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Barlow. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Economics, Madeline Kate Bavner. Olivia Grace Carletti. Joseph John Kavanagh. Emily Maria Colaco. Madison Sarah Cox. Alicia Kate Dallison. Gabriela Claire Deloya. Olivia Jane De Silva. Tuscany Healy. Mia Erin Lucy Heim. David Mark Herbert. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Economics, Alison Hawke. Maria Fides Honorio. Stephen Jack Luiso. Fraser Long. Claire Marie Lillian Lontis. Kate Joan Joy Malaeus. Erin Jane Matthews. Jacob William Messemaker. Rebecca Elizabeth Nielsen. Chloe Georgia Price. Bridie Ellen Sachs. Kaya Selick. Carolyn Grace Short. Victoria Smith. Christopher Snape. Eleanor Stratton. Elise Catherine Tapper. Rebecca Claire Veach. Daniela Walter Badunas. Yong Tsi-hin. And Justin Joseph Zammit. To the degree of Bachelor of Arts Advanced, Simon Voiter Marek. Alexandria Lorraine Smith. and Hamish Pradit Francis Tynan. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Arts, Freya Ann Davies Ardil. And Nicholas Alexander Duddy. To the degree of Master of Environmental Policy and Management, Manaliban Janakumar Pandya. To the degree of Master of Arts, Translation and Transcultural Communication, Dang Yinfei. Li Sechi. And Chung Ho Fei. To the degree of Master of Arts, Studies in Art History, Julie Anita Hogan. To the degree of Master of Arts, Interpreting, Translation and Transcultural Communication, Dani Hu. To the degree of Master of Arts, Curatorial and Museum Studies, Rebecca Jane Freezer. To the degree of Master of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Australian Alcohol Advertising, Gender Stereotypes and Alcohol-Involved Sexual Assault, Lauren Cobart. For a thesis entitled The Role of Analogue Computation in Path Integrating Behaviour of the Desert Ant, a Defence of the Explanatory Credentials of Connectionism in Cognitive Science, Robert Peter Farquharson. For a thesis entitled Chivalry and Courtly Love, Cultural Shifts, Gender Relations and Politics in Early Tudor Court Culture, Hilary Jane Locke. And for a thesis entitled Crafting True Stories, an interpretation of 4 Australian journalists' non-fiction writing practices, Veronica Sonani Hapuate Ruwampura. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Perceptions of Bushfire Risk and Planning in Peri-Urban Adelaide, Australia and Locarno, Switzerland, Dr. Annette Margareta Bardsley. For a thesis entitled Behind the Scenes, Hans Heissen's Art World Networks, Dr. Ralph Mark Boddy. For a thesis entitled People, Platforms, Practice, the Social Mediation of Electronic Music Production, Dr. Paul Henry Chambers. For a thesis entitled Notes from Above Water, Fictocriticism as Queer Creative Research Practice, Dr. Alison Jane Coppy. For a thesis entitled What These Ithacas Mean, the Nostos Motive in Sea Fiction, Dr. Ursula Hollock. For a thesis entitled Utopian Encounters, Healing, Transformation and Paradox Amongst Women in Alternative Community, Dr. Nadine Levy. For a thesis entitled Volume 1, My Killer Secret, Volume 2, Literary Crime Fiction and Analysis, Dr. Philippa Deanne Martin. And for a thesis entitled Liminal Boundaries and Vulnerabilities to Radicalisation in the Context of Securitisation of Migration, Dr. Yvonne Rohr. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Chancellor, I, Director of the Elder Conservatorium of Music, Professor Graham Kerner, present to you graduates from the Elder Conservatorium of Music. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Sonic Arts, Toby Arthur Morn. Matthew James Ramsey. And Reese Mitchell Williams. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Popular Music and Creative Technologies, Claire Ann Chiddleborough. Jack Benjamin Kendall. William Bruce Megan. Taylor Morgan Pitt. And also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Matthew Dean John Ryan. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Music Performance, Jazz, Louis Boot Hussein. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Jazz Performance, Max Boyd Tulachevsky. To the degree of Bachelor of Music, Classical Performance, and also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Benjamin James Nichols. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Music Performance, Jazz, Maxim Grinchuk. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Music, Music Performance, Classical, Madeline Claire Stewart. And Jane Wong. To the Graduate Certificate in Music Teaching, Abdul Ghani Nanu.
To the degree of Master of Music, Performance Studies, Yushan Chen. And Go Otto Hadenata. To the degree of Master of Music, Performance and Pedagogy, Ruki Liu. Zhuyu Liu. And Yujin Men. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Ecotonality or Adapting Soundscape Ecology to Creative Practice, Ecological Sound Art Responses to 4 South Australian Ecosystems, Dr. Jesse Henk Nicholas Budell. For a thesis entitled The Infinite Lattice, a compositional exploration of symmetrical modes, modes of limited transposition, and other musical parameters generated by low prime numbers, Dr. Dylan Joshua Krismani. For a thesis entitled Revisiting George Enescu's 1921 Bucharest Recital Series, a performance-based investigation with recordings and exegesis, Dr. Elizabeth Layton. And for a thesis entitled In Search of Utopia, performing the lesser-known and unpublished violin works of Ernest Bloch, a portfolio of recordings, editions and exegesis, Dr. Simone Rose Linley Slattery. Chancellor, this now concludes the presentation of graduates from the Elder Conservatorium of Music and for this ceremony.
Chancellor, every year the university presents university medals to acknowledge the most outstanding graduates in each faculty who have completed a University of Adelaide bachelor's degree with honours or bachelor's degree of at least 4 years' duration. The university medals are awarded to them for their consistent outstanding performance across the whole of their undergraduate studies. I, Professor Peter Rathjen, Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, present to you recipients of the 2018 University Medal from the Faculty of Arts. Nicholas Alexander Duddy. And Madeline Claire Stewart.
I'm very pleased to present now Miss Anne Claire Jackson, who was presented this afternoon with a Bachelor of Languages. Claire will now give the valedictory address on behalf of the cohort of graduates who are presented with their awards this afternoon. Claire.
Impossible to see, the future is. So said a great Jedi Master a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Now it's 2019, and the future is, as always, difficult to predict. When I entered university, I was, like Luke Skywalker, unsure of my path. I liked fantasy stories, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, so I started a Bachelor of Arts, studying creative writing. My love of storytelling grew into a love of languages, and I finished with a Bachelor of Languages, majoring in Japanese. Like many before me, I had the chance to venture far from my homeland through the university's study abroad program. I met new people, explored new places, and learned new things about the world. My proudest accomplishment is the inter-university concert I organised in Japan. Although not strictly an academic achievement, this would not have been possible without the knowledge I gained at university. It was a challenge which required not just language skills from my major, but leadership, communication, time management, all those things we're meant to write on our CVs, and life skills, daring to take risks, knowing when to ask for help, learning from my mistakes. I'm sure that every one of us has numerous achievements to be proud of. Today we are here not only to acknowledge those achievements, but to reflect on the work we did to get this far. After all, one does not simply graduate from university. It took a lot of time, effort, sleepless nights, and Netflix to get us here. Although, in the words of Master Yoda, we may still have much to learn, we made it this far, and now we are, like young Skywalker, a new hope for the future. Before we continue, let's take a moment to put our hands together for the new graduates. But just because we are the heroes of today's celebration doesn't mean we got here on our own. After all, Harry would never have been able to defeat you-know-who without Ron and Hermione at his side. We had lecturers, tutors, and mentors who guided us with the wisdom of Gandalf the Grey. But unlike Gandalf, they did let us pass. We had an academic institution which taught us that the best way to stay away from the dark side is simply to seek light. And we can't forget our friends and families. A big shout out to my mum, dad, and brother. You are like Gollum, and I am the One Ring. You treat me like I'm precious, even though I drive you insane. I also want to thank my grandparents, whose house is like my personal room of requirement, with an endless supply of love, encouragement, and delicious food. If we listed every person who helped us get here, it would take longer than the closing credits of a movie. Can we have a round of applause for the teachers, mentors, friends, and families of the new graduates? This day signals the end of an era. Of course, there will always be more to come, just as there will always be more Star Wars movies being made. We are only partway through the journey, but our favourite stories teach us that it's that journey that counts more than the end point. So today, let's pause to celebrate how far we've come before taking the next step. Finally, I would like to leave you with a short snippet of song from the Hobbit films. And though where the road may take me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. I bid you all a very fond farewell. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. You've given me an idea how to close the ceremony. I might sing it. You'll all be better off if I don't, I can assure you. It's now time to draw close to the ceremony today. Can I again congratulate all of our graduates today? Be proud of what you've worked to achieve And as Claire's mentioned, remember those who've supported you to reach this end. I wish you every success in this new exciting phase of both your life and your career. As graduates of the University of Adelaide, you are its alumni and ambassadors. Over the years since the university was established, its alumni have made enormous contributions to the community, both here and overseas. And today you join a community of over 147,000 alumni located in 134 countries throughout our globe. We also have 17 global alumni networks, including 8 from international areas. I'd like to offer my congratulations to the medalists, thank the speakers, and also the mace bearer. I also acknowledge, on behalf of the Council, the terrific work that our academic and professoriate staff complete. Thank you. I now ask the graduates to remain seated, for everyone else to rise, and once again, join me in finally congratulating the students. Would the audience remain standing? Our graduates now please stand for the academic recession. I declare this congregation adjourned.